Owning a gun is a right, but my son also had a right, and he had a right to live. And I think that is more of a right than owning an automatic weapon.
Karen Teves from Phoenix, Arizona, experienced a parent's worst nightmare. While on vacation in Paradise, in Hawaii, the Teves were awakened by a chilling phone call.
I could hear the screams on the other end of the phone, and I looked at Tom, my husband, and he was just pure white. I knew something was terribly, terribly wrong at that point.
In July of 2012, at a premiere of the new Batman movie, James Holmes burst into the theater dressed as if he was ready for battle and opened fire with pistols, a shotgun, and an AR-15 semi-automatic rifle, carrying a magazine that held 100 rounds of ammo. 12 people were killed, 70 others wounded. Holmes has been charged with a mass slaying.
I won't discuss that person. I just won't talk about that person. I don't want to give any validity to that. It's hard for me to even call that individual a person. The manner in which he was taken was just incredibly violent. He died from a single gunshot wound to the head.
A 24-year-old going to school in Denver, Colorado, Alex Teves had everything to live for.
We were so proud of him. I mean, we couldn't have dreamed of having a son like him.
He died using his body as a shield to protect his girlfriend. His family saying that's just the kind of person Alex was. The Centers for Disease Control, based in Atlanta, says about 33 people are murdered in the U.S. daily. A vast majority are shot and killed. Teves says the U.S., in many ways, is simply numbed by gun violence.
In this country, I think. You know, how could we kill 33 rare dolphins a day? I mean, people would stand up and speak out loudly. You know, my son, I mean, he's extinct now. I mean, there was only one Alex. My heart will never heal. The pain will never stop. We lost an entire generation. He's our firstborn son. He didn't have any children. He was on a path to finish his schooling, get married, have kids. That's all gone, so I don't think it'll get easier. I just hope we can make a difference in his memory.
Tucked away in southern Minnesota, where the winters are long and cold, is a company called Drive a Tank. And it allows you to do just that.
The only place in the United States where you can drive tanks and shoot machine guns. So it's, you know, fulfills its sense of macho and a big, you know, it's awesome.
How hard is it to learn to drive something like this?
Not very hard. It's pretty much the throttle and the two brake levers will get you to go. So it seems really complicated, but it's just braking and throttle.
This is a British tank, or to be more accurate, a self-propelled gun.
The Brits must be small people.
The instructor is right there, but learning is pretty intuitive.
All right, pull the brake levers towards yourself, the buttons will pop up.
And with the cold and snow, I felt as though I was a member of General Patton's tank brigade, bursting through the Ardennes to come to the aid of Easy Company. But there's a reason Drive a Tank usually doesn't let people drive in the heavy snow late in winter.
The ice will build up in the track here. You can kind of see it happening a little bit down here, right there. If the ice builds up too bad, it'll split the track.
And finding a replacement piece of track for a piece of war machinery that should probably be in a museum not the snow of Minnesota, isn't easy. The adventure isn't cheap either. Bargain basement cost is around $400. Upgrade to the deluxe package at around $2,500, and you are in the driver's seat of a British Mark X Chieftain. Oh, and it gets better. It is all the brainchild of Tony Borglum.
Well, yeah, everybody knows everything's bigger in America, I guess. I realized how interesting all the vehicles were and how many options were out there. And then most importantly, I realized that anybody could own a tank.
In all, Borglum has close to a dozen tanks. About 1 in 4 of his clients spends the money to crush a car because it also allows them to do this.
Experience the power.
Did I hit anything?
Not really.
Drive a Tank also allows you to fire fully automatic weapons, many of which date back 70 years.
No, this is a World War II relic. This is a German MG42 belt-fed machine gun. This gun was made during World War II, and it survives today in our collection as a piece of history that you can experience.
Okay, now this one you might want to let off of if it starts getting out of hand.
Borglum says the experience is uniquely American, driving tanks and shooting big, powerful guns.
Wow, that was about 15 rounds. The movie can only be so realistic, but when you've been able to come here and see the power, it makes you realize what somebody would have been gone through, you know, where they would have been.
Woo. There are hundreds of millions of guns in the United States within arm's reach.
There is more firepower in the hands of American citizens right now than any country's army in the history of the world.
No rational person wants to relive this. Or this.
Every one of these mass murderers or attempts at mass murder had neighbors, schoolmates, co-workers, family, and close friends that were aware of and shared a history of violent tendencies and life-threatening conduct. But no one said anything because of the new curse in our life called political correctness.
A cop-out and a poor excuse, according to hardcore gun control supporters, who are hell-bent on silencing the powerful gun lobby and guns.
I'm trying. There's a lot of roadblocks. I believe we will get it done. I just don't understand why it's taking so long. Our country is in such an emergency crisis. We're at war within ourselves.
After the Newtown Elementary School shooting, a New York Times report found 1,500 new pieces of gun legislation were proposed across all states, but only 109 of them became law. And of that number, less than 40 made gun policies stricter.
Coming up,
we meet a teacher that is changing the way kids learn in Matamoros.
Intentamos buscar diferentes técnicas.
We give students more options so they can really learn. We go to the internet, research books, and discover new ideas that are being used.
America's Next.